everybody. Today, looking on events and how to maximize opportunities at events. So there's many different ways. So before we even talk about speaking opportunities, if you're new to cannabis, just get out there and get involved. It's a ton of fun. You're going to meet a ton of CEOs. You're going to meet ancillary providers, whether they're software companies or lighting companies or banks or whatever. You'll make connections and you'll just learn a ton. Um, and so I tell people in your first 6 months, going all in, try to find one big stage event. These are in almost every big city in the U.S. We have multiple events every week of the year across the U.S. And a stage event, maybe a 2 day event, they've got breakfast, they've got happy hours, they've got lunches, they've got speakers, they've got booths. And in 2 days, you can learn a ton and meet an absolute ton of people. That's a little bit different topic of today, and we've got videos on that about how to prepare for attending an event, what to do during the event, and what to do after the event to maximize your reach and build out your network as quickly as possible. But then, as you develop your expertise in cannabis, um, you want to develop your thought leadership. So we call it building our VIP, building valuable expertise, instructing, and participating. And by being involved and learning, always learning and growing, you're going to just be able to provide more education, not just standing on a stage, but at a lunch or just talking to a CEO or in an email or commenting on a post on LinkedIn where someone provided misinformation. You can instruct in so many ways, and that every time you're doing that, whether it's just simply a comment on someone else's LinkedIn post or standing on a stage, you're building your thought leadership. And by the way, take pictures. If you're ever on a stage, get lots of pictures. Say it's a tiny event and only 5 people show up to listen to you speak. Have your friend or your mother or your aunt or whoever take a picture. They can, if it's a smallly attended speech, have them just take you up on the stage. Nobody knows how many people are in the audience. If there's 150 people in the crowd, have them stand at the back. Get as much of the crowd as possible. So the better your picture, and by the way, you only need really one good picture, because whether it's on your website or your LinkedIn homepage, it speaks 1,000 words. And if someone pops on your website or your LinkedIn and the first thing that they see is a picture of you on stage at an obvious national cannabis event, it's going to just automatically give you credibility. They're just going to assume, oh wow, Andrew's up there on a stage speaking at whatever, the AICPA cannabis event. He's probably an expert before they do any more diving deep as well. Now, how do you become an expert to get on the stage? Well, first, you do need to build out your expertise. So, the obvious one, which I'm biased on, is the Dope CFO program. You can join our program. You will be an expert in all things cannabis within 90 days or even less. Our education covers everything from the science of the plants, and I mean hemp and cannabis, and then the various chemical compounds in both, and the difference, and what's intoxicating hemp and THCA versus Delta 9. All that science stuff, very important. It flows through into tax, not to mention build your expertise. We go from there. We talk about products and brands. We talk about software, insurance, banking. Then we go into accounting for all the different verticals, the cost accounting, then the tax codes, then the court cases, then the latest news from, for example, the AICPA Cannabis Conference in August this year. And so by the time you get through that education, there's just about nothing you're not going to know. So that's a huge start. A side benefit, if you're a member of our community and a paid member, just being a member of our community. So even if you are talking to a prospect or a client and you don't know the answer to a question, you can just say, no problem. I don't know the answer to that question, but I will get you an answer to that question in 4 to 5 hours. And go back to our community, ask the question. It could be something as crazy as, what's the best tractor for a new hemp farm, to what's the latest on 471C, or what's a specific issue on an Ohio tax return. Having access to a national community of experts in every state gets you able to find answers to any and every question as well. Hopefully you all can hear me. says I'm having internet connections, but anyway, that's the quickest way to get up to the education. Of course, you can use Google. There, um, get information other ways, but it's going to be a long, slow slog from there. Now, from our education, we have had people on stages before day 90, on national stages. The good news is there are so many events and everything from massive staged events at convention centers to meetups at brew pubs, smaller events, and not just in-person events. What about constant live webinars that are put out by law groups or accounting groups or CEO groups or hemp beverage groups? So as you connect with people on LinkedIn and Facebook and various groups, you can do presentations like I'm doing right now. I'm instructing on Facebook Live. So there's many ways to do it. You can do podcasts, you can do YouTube, and once you build that expertise, you can start getting the places to get in front of these people. But there are thousands and thousands of opportunities. And even if you want to stand on a stage at a national, state level big event, they have applications, all these events. They want new speakers. So, for example, in our program, we have 400 VIP members across all states. A huge percentage of those people have been on stages. And they could all be on stages if they want to. Some people just don't want to. And if you're scared, maybe you start out with a webinar. It's way less scary. Maybe you start off on a panel. There's 6 people on stage, and you're all sitting in chairs, and they just ask questions of the different panel members. That's less scary as well. So you can kind of work your way into your level of comfort as well. But then when you're up there and applying for the events you want to speak at, if you land one, first off, it gets you a free ticket to the event. Secondly, you can start doing all the stuff we do even if we were not speaking. It gives you a chance to go to the 2-day event. Yeah, you speak for an hour, but the rest of the time you can meet tons of people. They're going to recognize you, so you'll have people coming up to visit you. So make sure you have some kind of lead magnet or something of value to give them as well. When you're meeting people, we like to develop authentic relationships. So just be yourself, even if you're new into cannabis. Hey, I just got into this a year ago, but I'm learning a ton. I'm in the Dope CFO program. I'm a great accountant or CPA or whatever. But don't be talking about yourself. Ask them questions. How they started their dispensary or their farm or how they got into it and what state it's in. Are they growing? Are they expanding locations? They want to talk about themselves. And they will also ask you, what do you do? Oh, cool, you're an accountant. And then that leads into, I often will say, oh, what's your accounting solution? What do you do right now for your accounting, and what do you like about it? Oftentimes they'll say, you mean what do I not like about it? Yeah, I have a bookkeeper and I have a firm. Neither of them are available. Neither of them are cannabis experts. Neither of them know what they're doing, and they're not available to boot. So poor product, poor service. And so that's often a lead into, hey, we should do a discovery call. Oh, it's year end right now. Have you done gap level cost accounting out of your farm? Because if you haven't been, you're going to lose massive deductions on your tax return this year. 280E still applies. Cannabis is still on Schedule 1 in 2024, and so we better be doing 280E right. So it brings you great opportunities to build those relationships. And then as the time's right, whether it's a discovery call in person or on the phone, we can learn about their situation. We can let them know where we could possibly provide massive value to them immediately. So we want them looking at me as not a cost. Oh, Andrew's a good thing. Doesn't matter if I pay him 10 grand a month. He's bringing me massive value. He's lowering my tax bill. He's giving me audit ready books. He's helping me raise capital. He's helping make sure the entire back office is world class. And so they see that value real quickly as well. And so that's another facet of that. And then as you're out there participating, speaking, making connections, giving good advice, providing value, it warms you up to the CEOs, and that's what it takes to then make an offer, and every offer gets a yes or no. And sometimes a no means no. You need the right offer to the right person at the right time. You might give the right offer to the right person at the wrong time. So a no might mean no now, but check back in 6 months. I may have I don't know, I may need you in 6 months. So oftentimes I find these people come back and I tell them, go do what you're doing. You're going to have pain. When you have pain and you're not happy with, you can't get your loan or you can't raise capital because your books are a mess or your tax returns wrong or the auditors came, and come back to me. We'll be here. We'll be here waiting for you, and we can help you out when and where you're ready. So anyway, that's it for maximizing opportunities at events. Make sure you go out there and get involved. Whatever state you're in, I don't care. All 50 states have cannabis and hemp organizations, as well as there's over 1,000 national organizations. Get involved. Pick a national one, pick a local one. Get involved. Become a member. Volunteer. Eventually get on the board. They have events, and you can pitch and do speaking events to the groups you get involved with. So that'll be huge to your practice as well. So anyway, thank you for bearing with me. I just had shoulder surgery, so just about a week out. Survived that, and hope you all have a great week.